everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's video. I thought I would just do a little bit of an intro and kind of talk you through. Today I went to Bicester Village and had a really good time actually. I went in the morning because I wanted to beat the crowds, but I want to tell you more about it. As I mentioned in the intro, I wanted to talk to you about my morning in Bicester Village. For those who may not know, Bicester Village is located in the town of Bicester, which is in Oxfordshire. It's about 20-minute drive from Oxford. You can get the train in from London, you can get the train in from Oxford. I personally drive there. It's about 40 minutes from where I live. And it's got a range of different stores there. It's got the uber high-end to kind of the more accessible. So you've got anything really from Dior, Versace, Stella McCartney, Prada, I think that's a Givenchy, but then you also have things like Lululemon and Sweaty Betty and New Balance, and then you've also got the middle ground, so you have Longchamp and Karl Lagerfeld and Vivienne Westwood, and just all manner of stores. Anything as well, from fashion to shoes to bags to fine jewellery. So for example, you've got Jimmy Choo, Louboutin, Zara, you've got Anushka if fine jewellery is your thing, Gucci, etc, etc, the list goes on, and they're always adding new stores. So I went today just because I had some plans that cancelled, and I thought I've been meaning to go there for a little while, and you know, why not? Just make a morning of it, go and have a look. I occasionally look on the virtual shopping just to get a feel for what the stock looks like, so I thought, why not? So morning guys, today's outfit of the day to hit Bicester. So I'm going for a pair of ASOS jeans, my Kurt Geiger Donnies, a Zara polo turtleneck, whatever you call it, a Barber quilted jacket, and then my Mulberry Bayswater. So here we go. Let's go hit the shops. Okay guys, so I just arrived at Bicester Village, got my mask at the ready. Rules have changed in England, but I'm still continuing to wear mine. And yeah, so I'll insert some footage as we go, but I'll kind of talk you through what I did. So in terms of where I visited, I went to a number of different stores. I often don't go into the super high end. I don't tend to go into Versace. I don't tend to go into, you know, Gucci, etc. because I'm not going to buy anything. I know I'm not going to buy anything. Even if something's got a really good price, the likelihood is I'm not going to buy it. I probably can't afford it. Even if, you know, they had a, you know, let's say they had one of the bags that was normally £3,000 and it was £800. I'm still not going to be able to afford it. So I'm realistic about what I can spend and what I can access. So, but I did go into a couple of them. So I started off in Ralph Lauren, and I just wanted to have a quick look at some of the Ralph Lauren clothing, but also I was interested in a couple of their bags. And I have actually purchased a Ralph Lauren bag, not today, but I will tell you more about that in another video. Once that arrives, I will show it to you. So I was very intrigued to see a bit more of the kind of bag range. There were a couple that I'd seen online that I wanted to check out in store. Now, I wasn't overly taken by anything in store, I'll be honest. The bag range that actually I did quite like, I think it's called the convertible bag, I want to say, and it's their equivalent of a flat bag. And they do it in some quite nice colours. I think online I've seen it in green, they had a red, they had a black, they had it in slightly different sizes. I quite liked the larger size. I think it was a couple of £100, so quite a reasonable price point. And where Ralph Lauren does really well is it's got very discreet branding. And their bags in particular, I think they just have a sort of a little RLL logo, I think is what they've got. So they're quite discreet. They're always in quite durable materials as well, which is nice. They had a mixture of nylon, they had a mixture of leather. So there were some good pieces. In terms of clothing, they had some quite good offers. So I think t-shirts ran around £30, a shirt you could pick up for about £40. And the thing that I would say is that as an owner of a lot of Ralph Lauren clothing, it's hard wearing. It's durable. So if you are looking for maybe a brand that you're going to own some pieces for quite a long time, Ralph Lauren's a good one. I've owned some of my Ralph Lauren pieces for we're going on 7 or 8 years, and they've gone into retirement, but I do pull them out every now and again, the odd polo shirt, etc. And they've done really well. Yes, they look a bit washed, but that's fine. You know, they're not my dress stuff anymore, but they did me really, really well. There was a dress shirt I had from the outlet that I bought in Swindon when I was about 15, and I think I only got rid of it about 3 years ago. And that was only because it ripped, otherwise I'd have kept wearing it. So I'll try and insert a photo. But no, they had some nice stuff. They had some nice tailoring. Yeah, I was pretty impressed, I have to say. And then from there wasn't anything that particularly grabbed me. I was impressed by the sale, but there was nothing that particularly grabbed me. Next, I went into Lacoste. And there were some quite nice pieces in Lacoste. I always love the display that they've got of the polo shirts at the back with all the vibrant colours. Really, really lovely. They had a really good sale on. They had kind of a last chance to buy sale, and you could pick up in some instances a t-shirt for like £10. And then they had outerwear, they had jeans, they had so much stuff. And it was actually really, really good. I was also really intrigued to see their bags. I've looked at their bags online a couple of times. Nothing that grabbed me, but they had quite a nice kind of chain camera bag style. And I was quite taken with that, actually. It wouldn't suit me, but I thought actually it could be a really nice bag for someone. And they had it in quite a nice silvery metallic, which I thought worked really well. Then we continued, and okay, and then you've got the uber high end, so I'm not going to go in here because there'll be nothing for me, but you've got beautiful Manolos, very topical with the relaunch of Sex and the City coming soon. Very exciting, beautiful, beautiful. I did go into Prada. I did go into Prada, actually. I went and had a look at some of the bags. I didn't have any of the bags I was massively interested in. I think it's called the Capana? It's like a fabric bag which has poppers on the side. They had one there last time, which was in this tropical print, and I wanted to see if they had any others there, and unfortunately they didn't. But what really surprised me there was it took probably about 3 or 4 minutes of me looking for a sales associate to acknowledge me. They were having a conversation about, they were talking about the salary at Tesco or something. Is anyone going to offer to help? You know, I didn't need their help, but I thought customer service wise, at least acknowledge that I'm there, kind of thing. So that wasn't great. But then when I went upstairs to look at the shoes, they were better. The lady there was really friendly, greeted me straight away. And I was quite taken by this kind of neon pair of trainers. They were this bright yellow pair of trainers, and I thought they were really fun. But they were about £170. I don't need £170 neon trainers that I'm not going to wear. I just thought they were fun. But yeah, so that was all good. And then we continued to move. So I definitely say if you want shoes, it's a great place to come because you have Giuseppe Zanotti, you have Christian Louboutin, and you also have Aquazzura as well. So some great shoe brands. So definitely worth a look if that's your thing. Well, I'm just having a little look to try and get my bearings to where I went to. Then I went to, I think I then just kept going. I think I went straight down the bottom to Karl Lagerfeld. I went to Karl Lagerfeld. And because again, I just bypassed a lot, you know, I didn't see the point in going into Aquazzura, etc. I wanted to go into Louboutin, but the queue is always really big. It's a small store, the queue is always really big. I just didn't fancy it. I just didn't fancy it at the time. I should have gone there first. It should have been the first store I went to when it was quiet. By this point, it was about 9:45 and the queue had started. And the reason I wanted to go to Louboutin is because I've seen on their website, their main website, that they do this okay in a size 9 now, and size 9 is the shoe size that I can wear, and I wanted to see if they had any. If not, I might, when I'm next in London, I might go to Selfridges and I might try a pair on. Now, people say the Socate's an absolute murder to wear, but I wear quite a lot of 120mm heels, so I think I might be okay. I don't think I'm going to be comfortable, but I think I might be able to stomach it, he says. It's a very expensive potential mistake. But yeah, so I just kind of breezed past those, went to Karl Lagerfeld. Loveliest sales associates in there. They're so friendly. They remember you. One of them I actually was speaking to on the WhatsApp yesterday because I was asking for dimensions of a bag. I went in there to look at a particular bag. Ended up, I liked it, but it didn't quite do it for me. And so I walked away from that one. It was too much of an odd mix between almost like childish, but formal. I couldn't quite figure out where I would use it or why you would use it. I liked it, but then when I saw it in the flesh, I thought, Nick, realistically, what are you going to use it for? But they had a really great range of SLGs. They had a great range of bags. If anyone remembers my K-Pura pouch, my pouch with the strap on the front of it with the chain across it, that was down to £57 with an additional 20% off. I paid, when I bought it, I think it was going at £110. I got 10% off it, but I mean, it must be about £40. I mean, a bargain for that bag. It's a great bag. I wasn't upset paying £90 for it. So, but geez, if I'd have just waited 6 more weeks, I could have bought it for circa 40. Oh, but they had a really great range, I have to say. And there was this yellow evening bag that I'd been looking at. And I did like it, but it was just too small. I just don't know where I'd have used it. But it was in this really lovely lemony yellow. It was pebbled leather. What I like about Karl Lagerfeld is that they use a lot of durable materials, which is really good, and they're fun. Really good fun. They had some nice outerwear that was kind of just going out to set, because obviously summer, we're not really seeing much outerwear. But they also had some great t-shirts and some great scarves, and there was some really nice stuff in there, actually. Nothing that I felt too compelled to go and buy. I did buy something from there, but nothing of that range that I felt particularly compelled by. But I'm really happy with what I walked away with. It's something that I've been looking at for a while. Okay, now this kind of caught my eye, but now that I'm up close, it's not quite as fabulous as I thought it once was. I quite like the shape, but I'm not loving the print, as in the flowers, but I do love the Fendi Zucca print. But yeah, and this, I don't really understand what's going on here. I really, no, don't get it. Okay guys, we are cooking with gas. We currently have a bag and also a t-shirt. Now we have a few more places to go. We have a few more things to do and places to loop back around to, but we're getting somewhere. So the bag wasn't something that I originally went in for, but you know, I'm happy with it. It fills a need that I've got in my wardrobe. Then from there, I went off to Swarovski. I wanted to buy my mum this beautiful pair of earrings for her birthday. They were crystal, and they had the beautiful swan, and they were purple and blue crystals. Sold out. They were online yesterday. Didn't show being sold out. And when I say online, I mean the virtual shopping. Didn't show as being sold out. I went to the store, asked the lady. No, sorry, they've gone. They were so beautiful, and what was worse was that they had a choker with the same detailing on it, and I could see how beautiful the colours were. And it was this ultimate tease where I thought, I've driven. I actually went to Bicester more for those than anything, and they weren't there. But then also partly my fault, because it wasn't the first store I went to. That's a lot my fault, actually, isn't it? That's very much my fault. Oh well. I mean, telepathically they should have known. To be fair, I went there at like 10 a.m. I'd been there for an hour. I went there at 10 a.m. and they didn't have them. And then it didn't have anything else that took my fancy. And I did send my mum a couple of videos that she was looking for a necklace, but I just said to her, I was like, look, I'll send you the video, but they ain't great. Swarovski I find really hit and miss. I went into the Mcm store as well, loveliest sales associate in Mcm. They had some really nice stuff. Mcm probably isn't so much my vibe. I'm not cool enough for Mcm, but they had some really beautiful pieces, and in particular, there was this absolutely stunning piece of carry-on luggage. It was a 50cm carry-on luggage. It was black, and it had this beautiful floral print on it. What was great was that it came with a long strap, and it also came with the strap on the back, which allows you to hook it over your suitcase. So that if you've got a wheelie suitcase, you can just hook it over the back, and away you go. You're not having to carry 2 pieces of luggage. I thought that it was really, really beautiful. It was about £750, I think, from memory. Really lovely piece. It would have been about £1,100 retail. So that I was a really big fan of. From there, I then went to Longchamp, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of Longchamp. I wanted to go and see the orange Le Pliage. I'd been considering it for a while, but it was so dull. It was like a burnt orange when I looked at it, and I'm sorry if that's a colour that you really like. It's not a colour that I like. I wanted someone to look at my arm and go, oh, he's carrying fire on his arm. Look at how vibrant that is. That's got like a, boo, that's a pop. It wasn't. It was a bit of a dull colour. It was more of like a dark, it was more towards amber than kind of bright flame orange, which was really what I was going for. I then was umming and ahhing about 2 blue bags. Ultimately ended up walking away from those. Then I looked at the baby pink top handle as well, and I did really like that, but I have so many pink bags. It was also a really light colour, and I do worry about damage, and I know that I've got the yellow, but I think that you should only have so many kind of damageable bags within your collection. So again, I walked away from that. Now, a real standout piece for me, which if I was more of a taupe person, I think would be beautiful. So if you're a taupe person and this colour works for you, it is the Roseau, I think it's called. I referenced this in my last Longchamp video, but it was the shoulder bag, the taupe version of it, and oh my word, it was stunning. It was in the most beautiful rose pink, it had silver hardware, it was absolutely stunning, really truly fabulous, really truly fabulous, beautiful, beautiful. Really lovely material. Oh, it was gorgeous, and they had the SLGs to go with it. It was fabulous, and I think it was circa $250 for a full leather tote bag. It was stunning, absolutely stunning. They had another really nice like fabric, kind of velvety fabric, Roseau as well. I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce that correctly, aren't I? And they had it in 2 sizes, and that was really lovely as well, actually. They had some really beautiful pieces. I did buy a couple of things, but nothing that I think you'd have thought I was going to buy. I bought accessories from there, opposed to a bag. But I was a big fan. I've completely missed out the fact that I went to Mulberry. Mulberry was fab. Slightly more muted colours. I've been there before, and they've had green, they've had yellow, and they've had blue, and they've had pink. They had a lot of the kind of more classic colours. So in the Heritage Bayswater, which is this style, they had it in black, they had it in mock croc, they had it in beige. I really liked the beige, but it didn't have feet on the bottom of it, and that's a big problem for me. Not when you're talking kind of slightly less expensive bags. My Longchamp bags don't have feet, but for bags that cost the price of things like Mulberry's, for me, it has to have feet. Particularly if it's a lighter colour. Yes. Also, the sales associate, what a beautiful man. Firstly, he was so lovely. So lovely. And he was incredibly handsome as well. Very much so. But he did reference that he had a partner, which, damn it, they always do. But yeah, he was lovely. I wasn't enamoured by, I actually, let me start again. I got on really well with 3 of the sales associates in Mulberry, and they were really helpful. One lady, she'd obviously just come in for a shift. I hadn't quite clocked it, but I asked her a question as she was going in, and because she was carrying a Mulberry, the thing is, she didn't have a coat on or anything, I don't think, but she was carrying a Mulberry. But then they often carry handbags around the store when you've got when you work at those types of stores, they often carry the items, or maybe I actually assumed that she was taking it out the back to maybe see if they had a fresh one for a customer. And I said to her, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, can I just ask you? And she said, I asked her, do you have this any more of the bracelets, or is this your only option? Oh, I don't know, I've just got here. Okay. So, you're gonna say, no, but please do, I'm really sorry, I've just got here. Can you if you can wait a couple of moments, I'll be out, or if you'd like to speak to one of my colleagues. You know, customer service, considering how good the other 3 sales associates were, maybe she was having a bad day. It was rude. It was rude. And it was a little bit souring, but then I went and spoke to one of the other sales associates. He was really helpful, showed me everything, and I did slip in there the fact that I had asked his colleague and she was rude. So, sorry about that. But yeah, so that was good to have a look at the range. I also quite like one of the Mulberries that I'm quite taken with these days is the belted Bayswater. I don't think I would ever go for one. They certainly didn't have any colours that floated my boat, but I did like the belted Bayswater. And I also do quite like the zipped one as well, which is that slightly more structured and more angular version of it. And they had it in this really lovely, almost like a periwinkle blue. It was a smaller size that wouldn't personally suit me, but it was really, really lovely. Also, they had this, one of the bags, if you are looking for a luxury bag, but you don't have a huge budget, they did have a rather sizable Mulberry, actually. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll insert the footage of it. And it was, I think it was £295. So it is possible to buy really lovely luxury pieces, and I think it was leather, luxury leather pieces, on a more constrained budget without necessarily having to go pre-loved. So my Bayswater is pre-loved. I would buy one new, I would consider it. But there were some lovely pieces that were within reasonable price points. You were talking, you know, some of the smaller kind of zipped Bayswaters, etc. I think about £450, £500. Not unreasonable. I also went to Dior. So where I said I don't go to the uber high ends, I did go to Prada and I did go to Dior. Dior was quiet, that was the reason why I wanted to go in there. They had some really beautiful pieces. I saw a pair of jeans there that were almost like the Carrie Bradshaw, newspaper dress. And those were stunning. They were about £850. I think they were ladies' jeans. They also had this beautiful, stunning coat. It's like an overcoat. It was absolutely beautiful. And you know, it's one of those types of items that I could imagine, you know, if you were watching a scene out of Desperate Housewives or something, it was the type of coat that they would take to, like, seduce their husband at the office, not wearing anything underneath, you know. It was absolutely stunning, and what a flex that would be to be naked in your Dior overcoat. I mean, fabulous. It was really beautiful. It's a stunning colour. Lovely, lovely, lovely. In terms of bags, they had some fab bags. They had the Diorama in an absolutely beautiful cobalt blue. They had the Diorama, and they had this stunning hot pink Diorama that was studded. They also had some slightly more intricate bags. They didn't have Lady Dior's or anything like that. They didn't have saddlebags. They didn't have Lady Dior's. They didn't have 30 Montaigne. I didn't see a Bobby. Nothing along those lines. They didn't have Caros or anything like that, but I think that's because they're current season. But they did have the bag that has Dior written across it, and it's got the slot in the front that you put your hand through. I remember Sophie Shohat had one of these. I don't know if she still has it, but I remember she had one, and she referenced how it was going to be kind of a trend bag that they would discontinue. Lo and behold, I think they have, and it's ended up at the outlet. I didn't see the price of it, but it was there. So it's going to be, you're probably talking at least 30% off what it would have been in store, which, I don't know, takes it to probably, what, around 1,100, maybe? So, yeah, they did have some pieces like that. In terms of Versace, I didn't go into Versace, but I did have a look through the doors. You can see quite a lot of the store. They had a lot of pieces that had the newer Versace logo on it, which is part of their kind of newer branding. I didn't see anything so much that had the Medusa head. I saw a lot of stuff with the big V. But they had some really nice pieces, what I could see through the door. They had some really, really nice pieces. So I absolutely think that Bicester is worth going and having a look. You can pick up some really fab items. And yeah, I think there's something for all budgets. I don't feel comfortable personally going into the more higher end stores. I feel like a fraud because I know that I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look and I'm just going to be nosy and just to kind of revel in what could be, you know, if I won the lottery or something. But I do like to go there, but I'm very comfortable sticking within my remit, which is kind of, you know, Karl Lagerfeld and Longchamp and Hunter and places like that. But if the stores are quiet, I like to go and be a little bit nosy, but I do draw the line. And if I know that I'm absolutely not going to go and purchase, I don't want to, particularly at the moment where I don't like to really be in busy places, and particularly now with the regulations having changed as well. I try to avoid being in too many crowded spaces if I can. So it just doesn't feel right to go and browse for somewhere that realistically I have no hope of even being able to buy a single thing. Probably can't even afford to even step through the door. And they know it. They know it, and I know it. So let's just not pretend. But anyway, I highly recommend, if you live a fair distance from Bicester, I would recommend going on their virtual shopping, maybe get in contact with one of the sales associates. You can do it all through WhatsApp. Get in contact with one of the sales associates, see if they've got stock of something, see if they can maybe put it to one side for you so that you're not making an unnecessary trip. But I do recommend, it gives you a good indication of the stock availability plus the pricing, well worth a look. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. Okay guys, so I just thought I'd do a brief roundup, sat in front of this lovely bush. So good day. Bicester, it's started to get quite busy, which is why I've decided to kind of just call it a day. I haven't bought anything massively extravagant, but what I've bought I really think I'll like, and I look forward to showing you. Well worth a look. They had some really good sales as well. And yeah, come and have a look if you fancy some new stuff. See you later. I look forward to sharing with you my purchases. I bought 6 items. I look forward to sharing with you what those are, and I will talk to you in my next video. All the best, guys. Mwah.